All right, folks, for the final time tonight, welcome back to the LA Sparks 365 Network, your 24/7 365 comprehensive home of the WNBA and your two-time WNBA champion Los Angeles Sparks. And, folks, we were going to do our absolute best to compact this wacky and wild three-overtime game into about 20 minutes to maybe 15 minutes of talk here, folks, here on the show that always wins at the buzzer. That would be Buzzer Beater LA. Hello again, everybody, for the last time this evening. Cal McClurg and Chris Mancy. Reed joining you folks here from Studio 171 in San Diego and the Annenhart Studios up in Anaheim, California. Chris, there's a lot of material to cover here, man, in about 15 minutes or so here, man, in a three-overtime game. What's happening?
Nothing much, just hanging here.
Three overtimes, folks, is all I got to say for the game, folks. Because again, it was a ugly day at the Verizon Center in our nation's capital as the Washington Mystics in triple overtime defeat the LA Sparks 92-84. Chris, at the numbers tonight, real quick here, the game stats right here. The field goal percentage, 40.8% for Washington, 30% for Los Angeles. Three-point field goal efficiency, 37% for Washington, 33.3% for Los Angeles. And free throw shooting, 90.9% for Washington and 84.2% for the Sparks. Other numbers here real quick. Total rebounds in the game, Washington 13-11, 11 for LA, 13-12 LA offensive rebounds, 29 turnovers for Washington, 15 for Los Angeles, 19 fast break points for Los Angeles. 7 for Washington on fast break points, the biggest leads of the game. LA led by 6 as their biggest lead of the game. And then 9 was the biggest lead for the Mystics. And then points to the paint, 44-36 Los Angeles. Player stat-wise, the MVP, Candace Parker, 32 and 12. Had a double-double tonight, 6 assists as well for Candace, 7 steals for Armenti Harrington, 1 block for 2 players on LA. And for Washington, Bria Hartley, 20 points. Stephanie Dolson, 11 rebounds. Ivory Lata, 8 assists. 2 players with 2 steals, and Ruffin Pratt with 2 blocks for the Mystics. Chris, it took 55 to play a triple overtime game today, man. That was by far a exciting, a fun, a raise the blood pressure, and just a game, Chris, that will not be forgotten for a long time, Chris. Because a stat to know, folks, this is only the second time in 18 years of existence the Sparks have played a triple overtime game. The last one coming in Seattle, July 22nd, 2009, Chris, where the Sparks also happened to lose in triple overtime. So, Chris, a great game, man. It could have gone either way, and like I said before, man, I ain't even mad if the Sparks lost because it went to triple overtime, man, and no one wanted to lose. I mean, it looked like, Chris, you're watching a inter-squad scrimmage. Someone said, no, we're going to play to the next basket. No, we're going to play 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, Chris. I mean, no one wanted to lose this game today, man. And unfortunately, Chris, someone had to lose. But I'll tell you what, it's a instant classic of the season, Chris, that it went to triple overtime. And, Chris, no one gave up. I mean, no one said this game's over being down by 9, down by 6, down by 1, or down by 3, man. No one gave up, and it was a very fun game regardless if the Sparks won or lost, man. It was just a flat-out great game today by both teams. And because, again, Chris, no one gave up, and no one said I quit, and no one said no mas.
Yep, agreed.
So, Chris, to kind of go to the compacted game recap, man, again, we'll go to the Sparks first for Beyond the Box Score, Chris. Again, we know about what we've ranted and raved about, Chris, for the past 2 hours here. Candace Parker, 32 points. Chris was perfect all day from the free throw line until crunch time, Chris, and she rimmed out 1 and 2 to put the Sparks up by 3 until Ivory Lata's insane three-pointer to tie the game at 66, Chris. But again, man, the loss isn't pinned on Parker's rear end, man, like it would at a party playing Pimatale and Donkey, Chris. She had 32 points. She's back to MVP form. She's a bad woman still, so Maya Moore, look out. The reigning MVP is coming away to take back her trophy, man. So, hey, I know about the rimmed out free throw, man. I know that a lot of people were kind of blaming her for the loss, man, but she dropped 32. She was basically the only player playing for LA, man, and hey, she's getting hot right when they need her hot, and that's on the road right now.
Yep, agreed.
So Candace Parker drops 32 tonight, folks, and of course, sort of a turning point in the game, rims out a free throw to put the Sparks up by 4, perhaps, barring what else would have occurred, Chris. Nneka Agumake, 16 points. Lindsey Harding had 13 points. Alana Beard, 9 points. And then also today, Sandrine Gruda with 6. Arminty Harrington and Janta Lavender with 4 points. But Chris, to Harrington real quick, man, not scoring, man, but 7 steals. A new career high for Minty, man. And right now, without Candace Wiggins playing, man, she is right now the new public enemy #1, Chris. So she may not be scoring, but she's helping out in other parts of the stat sheet, man, and that's playing lockdown, solid defense.
Yep, I agree.
And it would be nice, Chris, if you could say a little bit more than "yep, agreed," because it's kind of getting old after a while of hearing it after 2 or 3 times. Chris, getting to the players that did not play tonight, Chris. Nikki Green did not play. Coach's decision, Chris. Candace Wiggins did not play. Swollen, of course, Chris. The one we're going to be talking about for the whole week, Kristi Toliver, not with the team, Chris. What they are calling from the Penny Toller front office staff, Chris, is professional business in Russia. It's a bunch of bullcrap.
Yep. It's a bunch of bullcrap.
Hey, you didn't say yep, agreed for once. How about that? Give yourself a round of applause, Chris. About damn time I hear something other than yep, agreed over there from you. Chris, to the Mystics real quick, man, I'll tell you what. They were basically, Chris, playing out of their minds, and it all went to Ivory Lata, man. The tying three-pointer, Chris. Here's some scoring numbers for you, Chris. There were 11 different lead changes in the game today, and they were tied 12 different times in the game today, man. So that is about the triple overtime game, because we're going to the box score real quick for the Mystics. Rhea Hartley, 20 points tonight off the bench in 31 minutes played of the game. Stephanie Dolson, 14 points, as well as Ivory Lata with 14 points as well. Monique Curry and Jelena Milovanovic with 12 points. And then Kia Vaughn, 4 points. Mesmerin, 8 points. And Kara Lawson with 3. And Tonya Hawkins with 5 points. But, Chris, how about the rookie production? Not just Ivory Lata from Starbucks, Chris, with their insane three-pointer and that awesome name she has, man. But the UConn rookies, Hartley and Dolson, win the game for the Mystics in the third overtime session, Chris, going off, man. You knew, man, if they ever were teammates again, which kind of goes on Seattle for trading Bria to Washington, Chris, but you knew if they were ever playing together again, like we saw this year, Chris, with UConn, you knew they'd be a force to be reckoned with, Chris. Wait till they get up in their experience, when they get into like their third, fourth, fifth, sixth year, man, and they're playing together, man. Wow, they're going to be a better team for years to come, Chris. After what we saw tonight, man, they're going to be looking good for the next few years.
Yeah, there'll be a force to be reckoned with in the East, just like with Minnesota in the West.
Minnesota is pretty much has the championship for the league and the conference pretty much in concrete cement right now, Chris. So don't even go there. We already know about that. But Chris, going back to the breakdown of the scoring system, Chris, of the scoring at least, we had 11 different lead changes in the game, and 12 times today both teams were tied. So again, man, it goes back to the point I brought up earlier about no one quitting and no one wanting to lose, man, because that speaks volumes. That 11 times, Chris, someone took the lead, and 12 times they were deadlocked at a certain score. So instantly, man, regardless, again, man, I'll say it again, regardless of that final score I see down below here, which says Washington 92 and LA 84 in 3 overtimes, man, no one gave up. No one said we're going to lose because we're down by 9, we're down by 6. No one wanted to lose, man, and that is an attitude that both teams need to take into their next games, I think.
Yeah, they need to take it into the next game, and they'll be fine. They take it to the next game.
So again, the Mystics, folks, in an instant classic. 3 overtimes, folks, with 11 lead changes, 12 times tied, a 2-hour and 50-minute game. Mystics win, though, 92-84 to beat LA tonight. With the win, folks, the Mystics now go to 3-2 on the season. The Sparks with the loss falter to 2-2 on the season, and now fall to 3.5 games out of first place in the pretty much already locked up and won WNBA Western Conference, with the Minnesota Lynx possibly winning the championship again. Chris, the arena statistical tonight, the arena stats tonight, Chris, from the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. Chris, my go-to man, my favorite referee, Chris, my man, Lamont Simpson calling the game tonight behind the whistle along with Denise Brooks and Maj Forsberg. In front of a crowd, Chris, of 5,828 time of the game tonight, 2 hours and 52 minutes tonight from the Verizon Center in our nation's capital. Chris, let's get to our turning point of the night, man. We know a lot of people want to go to the fourth quarter at the free throw line, but Chris, it is a off-the-court turning point here with a mishandled situation, Chris. We're going to be talking about, man, all week. The mishandled situation by the front office of the Sparks to let Kristi Toliver walk away from the team for basically the entire month of June, Chris, to go try out for the 2016 Olympic Games with the Slovakian national Olympic team, Chris. Chris, I'll say it again, man, but again, do not put the blame on the free throw missed in the fourth quarter. Because, Chris, like I said before, man, she could have, Candace could have made that first one, and for all that I know, man, could have missed the second one. So you can't put the blame on that. Chris, you put it on the mishandled situation off the court, and that is what occurred with the Sparks front office saying okay to have KT leave the team for basically the entire month of June to go try for the try out with the Slovakian national Olympic team, Chris, when the Olympics are in 2 years.
I know. It's in 2 years. The front office should not let KT go when you need her. It's the beginning of the season when you face Minnesota twice at home, where you know it's tough to win at Target Arena in Minnesota, and you need her right in the beginning of the season, and to let her go to overseas to play the soccer team when it's freaking 2 years, just unacceptable.
Just to clean up on Iowa and Mancy, Chris, it's the Target Center in Minneapolis, not the Target Arena, but Target Center is the name of the venue over there in the capital city, or one of the capital cities, twin cities of the great state of Minnesota. But, Chris, agreed. I mean, it's unacceptable to have a player leave midseason, Chris, because Chris, we know about what we ran and raved about the offseason, about the possible fines players will face when they come back from their overseas commitment, being late to training camp, Chris, with their fines. Chris, why can't the league fine the Sparks right now for letting a player go overseas? I mean, I kind of wish, Chris, that the rules enforced right now so the Sparks, so Toliver could pay $50,000, Chris, for allowing this to happen because, Chris, yes, the Sparks have played 4 games. We know they've played the least amount of games, Chris, in the entire league so far, man. But still, though, it's a component you need to win games. 3-point shooting when your girl, LH10, ain't getting it done from the 3-point line, Chris, and the other 3-point shooter, Ice Ice Baby, is hurt. The only one you can rely on, Chris, is Toliver, and she ain't even in the U.S., man. She's auditioning for a spot for the Olympics in 2016 when we are in 2014. Worry about that over the offseason, but not right here now when you need her the most, when you know Minnesota's already got the #1 seed locked up, Chris. They're going to have home court advantage. They're probably going to win the championship this year. But, Chris, you can at least try to win the #2 seed and hopefully, Chris, for this time, beat Phoenix in the postseason. Then you go take the Lynx and you go beat them, prove you can beat them in the postseason. Then you go over there and beat Atlanta or Chicago or Washington in the WNBA Finals, and you win your 3rd title, Chris. But for right now, Chris, in my view, the Sparks, after this move, Chris, I'm going to say it here, they look like, Chris, they don't want it right now if they're making this kind of a move mid-season right now.
I know. I don't want to say it, but they're looking like they don't even want to make the playoffs.
Chris, just say it. Just say it. They don't want it. If they're allowing this to happen, Chris, if Penny Toller, Chris, is dumb enough or was dumb enough, unless she was drunk or something when she let this happen, you know, you're setting yourself up to fail, Chris, because the uphill climb does not get any better. Okay, you lost in triple overtime, Chris, to Washington. You've got Atlanta. You've got Chicago. And hell, you've got Mount Everest to climb, Chris. You've got the defending champions coming into your house, Chris, where you easily, very easily, Chris, could possibly or more than likely, Chris, be handed your worst loss in your 18-year history, Chris, to the Minnesota Lynx, Chris, either June 8th or June 17th. But Chris, there's two chances that the Sparks can regain themselves. That's either going 2-1 on this road trip, like we said, you somehow beat Minnesota, Chris, or if you lose those 4 games, if you lose Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, Chris, you've got Tulsa on the road, you've got the Stars on the road, you've got Minnesota back at home. So, Chris, there's a chance maybe you can go, 0-4, and then you win 2 games and get back into the mix, Chris, but you've got to at least win. Right now, Chris, at this point in time, they better win 4 in a row. They better beat Atlanta. They need to upset Chicago. And they need to pound Minnesota on Sunday. Because, Chris, what I've seen and noticed, it's a trend. Teams have a lead after the first half, and they get completely trashed in the second half. Chris, the Stars, last time out when they played Minnesota at Target Center, Chris, they had a 5-point lead, and they squandered 33 in the third quarter, and they got boat raced. So, Chris, you better hope and pray you hit every damn shot you take in the opening quarter of that game on Sunday. But, Chris, we're not going to go too far ahead here. But Tuesday, you've got a struggling Atlanta team, Chris, where they banged up Angel McCoughtry. You've got the tough Chicago Sky. Then you've got your work cut out for you. Chris, in my view, man, if you're a Sparks player, Chris, you circle those first 2 dates with Minnesota on your calendar, or you put an alert on your phone for that date, because that is the day you need to come out and you need to punch them in the mouth and go up by 40. You better hope and pray in the first quarter to have a shot in beating the Minnesota Lynx on Sunday, Chris. But again, don't go too far ahead, man. There's there's some light at the end of this long tunnel here. Because you got a struggling team, Chris, in Atlanta, coming in tied for 4th in the Eastern Conference, man. 3-3, and a banged-up Angel McCoughtry. So, Chris, let's go to Tuesday's game. All right, we know that the Sparks had a 3 overtime game. They looked a bit tire flat. Someone popped their tires earlier in the game because of that long layoff. Again, that long stretch. Again, the whole week off of no game. Traveled to the East Coast, Chris, but they got what they needed, Chris. A 3 overtime game. A loss, yes, but what they needed, Chris, is some significant playing time. 3 overtime game is what they needed to win. What they needed to have, Chris. Now let's go to Tuesday. You've got Atlanta in Phillips Arena, Chris, where you got hammered and destroyed last year late in the season. But, Chris, you've got a small little opening. You have a banged-up Angel McCoughtry. 7 points tonight, Chris, dealing with a bit of a shoulder blade injury that she's had since she's been overseas playing in Turkey. Chris, your thoughts, preview, analysis, what are you thinking about right now for what could be another ugly game on Tuesday in Atlanta, Georgia?
I think the Sparks, knowing Atlanta Dream, are banged up, are going to come out firing and taking it to Atlanta and cruising to a victory on Tuesday.
Chris, the Sparks didn't win on my birthday. They better win when Tanisha Hardy and Audacious Lex on Twitter go to the game on Tuesday. They're going to be there, Chris. So you better hope and pray, Chris, that LA comes out and they win when two of our family members at the game on Tuesday. So again, folks, the Sparks and Dream are on Tuesday night, 4 p.m. Pac time, 7 Eastern, on ESPN2 with possibly Ryan Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo. But again, Chris, as we close out here for the night, man, again, man, a very exciting, a very fun, thrilling game, wacky and wild. I know it didn't go our way, man, but it was really fun though to watch the game on live access today, man. But hey, you regroup, you refocus, you take you shower the game off tonight, you get some sleep, you travel down to Atlanta, man, you regroup and refocus, have a good little shoot around in practice, come out Tuesday and you come out firing and you come out strong on Tuesday, you hope to get a W on Tuesday night.
Yep, come out Tuesday and you'll be fine and go on, get the victory.
So, folks, to put a bow on this one tonight, final score in triple overtime in 55 minutes of play following 11 lead changes, 12 times being tied. The Mystics outlast LA 92-84 in triple OT. Folks, real quick, a program alert for you folks for tomorrow night. I begin a new job announcing semi-pro baseball tomorrow at 5 p.m. So depending on the length of the game tomorrow, it's a 9-inning affair. So depending on the length of the game, folks, we'll have a condensed schedule again, folks. We'll have a condensed schedule on Monday and Tuesday. Again, folks, Monday is baseball tomorrow, and then Tuesday is, of course, my radio show at 6 p.m. on Mountain Country 107.9 FM. So again, folks, that is why, folks, we may, again, folks, right now, again, I told Chris this a couple nights ago, folks, but again, with my new schedule here, folks, with my baseball schedule now, calling games on the radio, there is probably going to be no time for pre-game coverage, folks. So again, look for more so, folks, post-game until I have some off time here. But again, starting tomorrow, I've got baseball basically every day out of the week, basically. So again, folks, we'll have a condensed program schedule for you folks tomorrow and Tuesday. Of course, Tuesday is a game day, folks, and with the Sparks taking on Atlanta. But again, folks, we'll have possibly 365 and maybe Sparks game tomorrow night, folks. Is our only 2 shows tomorrow night. But again, folks, we'll have more about that on our Twitter handle at LA Sparks 365. And of course, folks, check out our dynamite new website, LASparks365.wix.com/LA Sparks for all the latest updates on the schedules for the programming and much more. All right, Chris, as we exit for the night, man, tough way to go down the night, man, but again, a fun game. Didn't go the way I know it didn't go the way we wanted it to, man, but hey, triple overtime, man. And again, man, it's like that meme we see a lot. I ain't even mad, man. We'll see you tomorrow night, man. And again, thanks for all the help like normal.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
So again, folks, until tomorrow night, have a safe night. Drive home safely. Thank you for coming, and good night. Now, this has been the LA Sparks 365 Network, your 24/7, 365 comprehensive home of the WNBA and your Los Angeles Sparks. We'll see you folks tomorrow night. See you guys tomorrow night. See you guys then. Have a great Sunday. And enjoy your CP Monday. See you guys tomorrow night. Bye-bye.